The Holy Father recently published an apostolic letter on the liturgy, following up on his motu proprio Traditionis Custodes that was published nearly 1 year ago, limiting celebrations of the Mass according to the rite used before the Second Vatican Council. In his apostolic letter titled Desiderio Desideravi, I've earnestly desired, the Pope explains that he wants to invite the whole Church to rediscover, to safeguard, and to live the truth and power of the Christian celebration. While the intention around the activities surrounding the liturgy seems to be focused on re-establishing a feeling of unity within the whole Church, many communities around the world feel a real desire to continue to celebrate the old rite. One such community is Clear Creek Abbey in Hulbert, Oklahoma, in the United States. For the Benedictines here, life revolves around the Mass.
We were trying to be both getting back to a certain richness that seemed to be lost in the liturgical reform. We want to get back to that and yet not seem intransigent. And so what we came up with is having permission for the 1962 Missal, but using some of the prefaces, using the calendar from the new Missal. We're trying to build bridges, and so it's basically the rite is like in the 1962, but there's some changes to it, and we use some new elements. We worked this out with the Ecclesia Dei Commission, which was started by John Paul II, at a certain moment, and they allowed us to do this, to have our own, you might call it a Benedictine rite. It's similar to the 62, you might call it a Benedictine rite, although it's not officially that.
In exultatione
The divine office with the hours and the Mass, well, that is the center of the whole thing. It's sort of like the sun, it sort of commands everything. The reality of Holy Mass is something of infinite value, of greatness, and so it's all really centered on that.
The monks have found that the Latin Mass leads them to deeper communion with God, and that it particularly resonates with young people. Many young families have moved here to be close to the monks. The very presence of the monastery is leading to a revival of the faith in this part of the world.
A lot of people have moved in since we've been here. I think they said that in Oklahoma, in general, when we arrived, the percentage of Catholics was less than in mainland China. Very few, they're Baptists, but right away people started coming this way and buying houses around. So now when we go on a walk, we meet pretty much all our friends, Catholic friends.
In fact, the monastery has grown very quickly since its founding in 1999. From 13 monks originally, it is now filled to capacity at 60 men. 7 entered last year alone. The development of the complex hasn't been able to keep up with the number of vocations. This most recent addition is a dormitory that should be finished in October of 2022. They build as they receive funding.
God makes us work hard and wait and have to not be spoiled with too much money too fast. So we don't have that much, but we get it as it comes. St. Joseph is our big fundraiser. The Blessed Virgin Mary, Infant Jesus, Blessed Virgin Mary, and St. Joseph. We pray to them a lot with a little Infant Jesus chaplet, we say, and they've been pretty effective, very effective.
The monastery is in the Diocese of Tulsa, where 61-year-old Bishop David Konderla is the shepherd. He's been at the helm since 2016, and today his appreciation for the monks is evident.
When I first went out there, I could see that these guys are serious. They're living a very serious approach to the monastic life. Their idea is to be there for 1,000 years. And so consequently, for example, when I was first there, everything was happening in the crypt, the bottom floor of what now is the 2-floor church, because they hadn't built that part yet. And it was years since they had built the crypt. And so they're approaching it bit by bit, stone by stone, you could say. But they're very dedicated to their life of prayer and to keeping the cloister. One of the beauties of the monastery is the way that people from the diocese are invited in various ways. And the community's healthy, it's young, they have lots of vocations, and so I'm very happy that they're here.
Ultimately, the possibility of continuing to celebrate the Mass in Latin here is in his hands and those of his successors. For the monks themselves, they are Catholic first and foremost, says the Father Abbot, and they will remain in the fold come what may.
But we're still waiting to see exactly what is expected of us. Our bishop here is very favorable to what we're doing already. He has no problem with that. Our attitude is that when the competent authority tells us directly what we need to do, we'll obey. We're not going to, but we want to keep something I think is very precious that could be lost, and we're trying to help maintain that. But being Catholic, being truly Catholic and not, sectarian or ideological or something.
While we're living in this unique moment with regard to the discussion surrounding the liturgy, one thing is certain. We can all heed the Holy Father's message that the Christian faith is either an encounter with Him alive or it doesn't exist. Liturgy guarantees for us the possibility of such an encounter. For us, a vague memory of the Last Supper would do no good. We need to be present at that supper, to be able to hear His voice, to eat His body, and to drink His blood. We need Him